Join us Friday, March 28th for our 150th episode live at 8 p.m. Eastern on our YouTube channel. We have lots of things planned, including the return of Nightwing Year One co-author Scott Beatty. Mark your calendars and we'll see you then.
Hey everybody, welcome back to We Are the Batman. I'm Mike.
And this is Matthew.
I'm doing my Batman impression.
I like it. Should I do this the whole time instead?
I'm over it. There's so much.
There's a lot of drop today.
We're both again, one of those instances where it's like, oh, we had a nice, neat plan for our episode this week, and James Gunn said no.
What happened that he dropped all of that stuff?
So there was apparently, from what I understand, is there was like a big, like unofficial DC press event kind of thing. Like a bunch of insiders got to go and get all this info. It's similar to like when James Gunn dropped his initial plan. This was basically their update, and we are going to just go through all of it as much as we can. We're probably going to miss something. So many things dropped. It's inevitable. We put up as much as we could had time to, just time to put together on social media. So follow us on all the social medias, Facebook, Threads, and Instagram at WATB Pod if you want to check it out there. You can also follow me on I'm on Blue Sky. All I really do is just recycle the stuff that we post for this show on there. So it's cool. Before we get into all that, make sure you subscribe to the channel. Excuse me. Because
nope. Dang it, I missed it again.
You will never get it right.
Subscribe.
Let's get into this, man. There's so much. All right. So we are pulling a lot of this. Thank you to Batman-News.com who compile all this stuff. They do the Lord's work so that we can ride the coattails of it.
Well, and I think some of it too is I think there was one thing he announced and I forwarded it to you. I was like, well, I guess we have something to talk about Friday. And then it was like right after that, it was just like,
and it's just the floodgates open. We definitely have something to talk about on Friday now.
Yeah.
Well, actually, before we get into all that, Matt, how you doing?
I'm doing interesting. I'm like, I think I told you the other day, like my birthday was a couple weeks ago, like a week and a half ago.
Yeah.
And something about last year I turned 50. This year I turned 51, but something about the 51 thing made me kind of do So I'm really trying to figure out what the next year and the next 4 or 5 look like for me creatively, work related. So it's kind of this weird, like, okay. And at the same time, kids suck. No.
Why do you think I didn't have any? I just chose to be one for the rest of my life.
I'm laughing at my son. He was going to a private school that's very limited. I think the entire student body was like 25. He was one of 3 kids in his grade because it was like a brand new school through the church. He now has moved to a big church or a big school. So he's like, I'm going to play baseball. And then it didn't dawn on him like, bro, you've never played baseball before.
No.
So he's
hit a ball with a stick.
Yeah. He's like, I just suck. I'm like, you don't suck. You just don't know how to play. You need to learn how to play.
Yeah. You're just new.
Yeah. So it's been interesting to watch him kind of struggle with that. I feel part of me feels bad in that, like, I told you, but there's also a part of me that's like, it sounds like you're getting in trouble because he got hit with the ball the one day playing third base. He got hit with the ball. And we're like, what happened? And he was like, I was drawing designs in the dirt with my
I was that kid. I was that kid that was always playing tic-tac-toe in the dirt at second base and not paying attention to the game. That was me. And look how I turned out.
All right, perfect. So it was funny. So trying to get him to, like, bro, if you're going to be out there, you got to be there. You can't be. But other than that, everything has been, life has going well. Like, I really don't have any major gripes or complaints. I've Reacher came out, so we tore through Reacher.
Right
Love
on.
it. I've enjoyed every season. I don't know why he's tanned so much, but beyond that, I think the show's great. What about you? What are you watching? What are you doing?
Still rewatching ER with mom. Love it. I don't know why. I just do. We just got to the part where George Clooney leaves the show because he was going to go do Batman and be a movie star. Because it was still that age where you could be a TV star or a movie star, but you couldn't be both. Before everybody realized TV was a steady paycheck. ER is just so much one of those shows. It's in the same vein as Law and Order and X-Files. It's like those three shows launched so many careers.
Yeah.
Because going back and rewatching ER is a who's who of like Alex Kingston, Octavia Spencer, Jaimin Hansu, like Mariska Hargitay. Like it's like the first things they did before they blew up. It's wild. Absolutely wild. Daredevil starts next week. Hell yeah.
Yes.
Already hearing some great stuff about that, so that's good too. And that's really been it. Mostly just trying to kick this crap. I haven't been on stage in months. Just doing this, at least I can, sit and drink water and turn it over to you once in a while. So, but yeah, man, other than that, just been hanging out. Killswitch Engage, one of my favorite bands, put out a new album. I've had it on a loop. Did some vinyl shopping. I got I think I told you the day I got the Batman Prince album.
Nice.
On vinyl for like $8.
I had that album like back when it first came out. I had it. No idea where it ended up.
I'm not even a huge Prince fan, like, to be totally honest, but the album slaps and sounds great on vinyl. So I got the Guardians 2 soundtrack,
nice.
and it's the soundtrack on one disc and the score on the other on the other record. So Tracy Chapman got a lot of good shit. I got a National Lampoon's Greatest Hits.
Okay.
It's like old clips of like Belushi,
Nice.
Chevy before we all hated him. Before we all thought that he was a piece of shit. Like, all the old guys, Christopher Guest.
We'll
And then also, just before we go any further, not really DC connected, but today when we're recording this is when you heard about Michelle Trachtenberg passed away at 39 years old.
Yeah, I saw that. That's too young. That's a baby.
Way too young. From what I read, I guess she had like a liver transplant, and I guess some complications from that is what they're thinking it was. So yeah, 39 years old, man. And it's 3 years older than me. That's absolutely tragic. Loved her in Buffy, loved her. I mean, I remember her from Pete and Harriet the Spy, because I was that age when those came out. And then she goes on and does Buffy and Euro Trip, and just so good.
I think she was one of those people, like, between my oldest watching stuff and things here and there, like, I knew of her. So, but it's never, especially that young.
Well, she was very much of my generation.
Yeah.
You were in high school, but when she started out as a child actor, like, you wouldn't have. Yeah.
And I was not on the Buffy train.
I really wasn't either. My parents were. I watched it here and there enough to appreciate it. It was mostly like, oh, look at all these gorgeous women and I was, in peak puberty when I discovered Buffy. So it was just like, oh, that's where I discovered Sarah Michelle Gellar and Allison Hannigan, and the rest is history. So I'm starting to sense a pattern with my love for redheads there, Matt. Anyway, all that to say, let's get into this DC news roundup, because good night almighty. I'm just going to go down the list that's here on batman-news.com, and we're just going to share our thoughts on them as we go.
Okay.
So I'm just going, this is just the order. I'm going to go in reverse order, actually, now that I'm looking at it.
Okay.
We'll start with the DC TV updates.
Okay.
So the Blue Beetle animated series, still in development. Angel Manuel Soto and Gareth Dunn at Alcocer are preparing for a final pitch, who I believe are the guys who wrote the movie. Could be wrong, but they are still going ahead with, and it's still going to have Miguel from
Yeah,
Cobra Kai.
I know he
And
said that. Yeah, and then, like I said, if they're the actor, they're the voice actor, they're the thing.
yeah. Yeah, they were the Angel Manuel Soto directed Blue Beetle and Gareth wrote it. So they're bringing back the crew. They're bringing
Yep.
back the brain
Which
trust of Blue Beetle.
totally makes sense. Unfortunately, due to so many different factors, pathetic. That movie did not do well, but it doesn't mean it wasn't a good movie.
That movie slapped. That movie deserved to do so much better than it did.
Yeah.
That movie was, but it's good to see that James Gunn and Peter Safran recognize that. Like, yeah, there was nothing wrong with this movie. Was it perfect? No, but yeah, this movie should have made bank.
Yeah, exactly.
Well, and especially because now that Cobra Kai is done, and I've tried to pronounce the actor's name Solo. And
Fine.
he's also in this most recent season of Invincible. Voices 2 characters. Well, are you caught up on Invincible?
Maybe.
Did you see the time travel episode?
I have not, but I thought I was up to date.
You are not up to date. You didn't see the one where Mark goes to the future?
Maybe I fell asleep during that one.
Okay, never mind. I'm gonna stop talking.
That's okay. But dude, I read the comic. You're not giving me away anything.
I think this was a thing that wasn't from the comic.
Okay.
From what I understand, I could be wrong. This wasn't in the comic.
Yeah, that's when he sees future. What's her name?
Nope. Not that.
Okay. All right, but then never mind. Yeah.
Nope. Anyway, he voices a character this season in Invincible. Is all a couple of characters is all I'm gonna say.
Has he grown up Oliver?
No, but that would have been brilliant. No.
Okay.
No. I won't say anymore. Anyway,
okay.
I'm just thrilled. I'm thrilled that James Gunn recognizes that, Blue Beetle did the thing. Like, bring it in.
I'm almost like partially wondering if they should have held that back for a year and let it be part of this thing. But at the same time, you would have to hold it for 2.
Well, no, because at that point the movie was contractually it just had to come out.
Yeah,
at that point, you know what I mean. It's one of those. It's like you can't. We've heard a lot about that in recent years, especially with Warner Brothers and so. Booster Gold, Booster Gold, the original showrunner, left the project. Development is continuing under someone else. So obviously that one is just kind of
cool.
Paradise Lost, the Wonder Woman Themyscira prequel kind of thing, is still in development. And James Gunn said that he has seen he has seen a script of what they're working on, or like a story. He's seen what they're working on so far and is very much like, yes, keep going. Is what he said.
Do you want to send me this link so I can read this stuff and save your voice?
Hey, that'd be awesome. That'd be super dope. I'm dropping that in the chat right now so you can do that.
Okay. I just had this moment of like, dude, you sound like you're about to
take this off my hands, Matt.
All right. Where did you say you did? You started from the bottom?
Yeah. We just did Booster Gold.
Paradise Lost. Yeah. Okay. Lanterns. We're on Lanterns. Lanterns is currently filming and will premiere in early 2026.
Yeah, baby.
I think we kind of already knew that was what was happening.
So last time we checked in with Lanterns, they were doing early production tests with the 2 leads, camera tests rather. I don't think they had actually started filming. We had heard rumors.
Yeah,
but
like some big gigantic ad is going to hit, and I'm not going to be able to look at the page. Hold on a second.
Fine. After Lanterns, we got Waller, which they said that it's still in development. However, the strikes knocked that one back a little bit. Hold on. Particularly the writer strikes. When the writer strikes were going on was when Waller was at that point still in development.
Okay.
So Waller is currently just a little behind because of that.
Hold on, buddy. I'm gonna try and do a screenshot.
You're good. It's the last TV one. The last TV one we have is that Peacemaker season 2 is coming in August.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, because there was something I think I don't see it on here, but they basically said what their yearly plans are. Do you
Yeah,
have that? Did you
we'll
see
get to
that?
that.
Okay.
We'll save that for the end. We put up a
Okay.
post about that. We'll definitely
Okay. I
get
just
to that.
wanted to make sure. Okay. Give
Yeah.
me a second. I'm gonna go find screenshots I just took.
2 hours later.
All right. The Authority is still in development.
Not only is it still in development, but James Gunn went on to then say that that one's probably gonna get moved down the priority list pretty far. He says that's kind of his passion project, but between Superman and Peacemaker and everything else, he's like, yeah, I'm working on it, but that's I think he straight up said like that one is he's finding harder to work in because as he's like the way the story of the universe is developed, less and less he's having a harder time finding how to work them in, which is honestly refreshing to hear that he's like saying, hey, I wanted to do this thing, the story is going elsewhere, I'm not going to try to force it.
Yeah. He's not forcing it. And the thing you and I've discussed, that's been the wild card for me because that's so far, in my opinion, most of what we're seeing is not new. Like we've seen like all those characters that are in Superman Return or Superman Legacy or just Superman now, sorry.
Yeah.
90% of those characters have been done in animation, other movies, things of that nature. This isn't the first time we're seeing, except for like the engineer and whatever that black costume guy is. Everybody else
Yeah.
we're familiar with. So I think taking something like the Authority that is so different and such a random kind of thing, because I mean, look, if you really break it down and look at it, it's kind of a riff off the Justice League.
A little
You
bit.
know,
Yeah.
it really is. It's kind of it was
It's very Eternals like. Yeah.
well because Midnighter's Batman and Apollo is
Yeah.
Superman. Like there's a
Very
lot of it.
Watchmen like. It's just
Yeah,
yeah.
I mean, as far as like
Well,
allegory wise,
I'm
the
just saying like
characters.
it's just another not Justice League.
Yes. So I think that may be also where we're getting that whole like, yeah, we have other things we're doing, and especially like, look, Creature Commandos did very well for them. If some of these other kind of random ones that are in line with what he's doing do very well, yeah, why would you kind of segue away from that? All right, Teen Titans, Anna
Anna
Nagira
Nagira
has turned in a draft of the script.
yeah, and that's who's writing Supergirl.
Yeah. Well, and what this makes me say, if you're doing Teen Titans, now I'm jumping the gun saying it this way.
But
Traditionally speaking, Dick Grayson is always in the Teen Titans. And traditionally speaking, he's Nightwing. Like he in the Teen Titans cartoon, he was Robin, but we already know we have Damian Robin. So that's making me think, which you laughed at me last time that I said they do a Nightwing movie before a Batman movie. No.
they're doing a lot of things before a Batman movie,
Yeah.
and we're gonna get to that. And I
Yeah.
don't mean that angrily. I'm just saying,
Yeah.
like, yeah.
So this is the Teen Titans movie. What I find would be very, very interesting is if they base it off the Judas contract and he becomes Nightwing within the movie. And then now, if you have a Batman and Brave and the Bold after that, that's why he's getting a new Robin because Dick Grayson is no longer Robin. Now, granted, that is streamlining Robins considerably, but I'm wondering if that's what we're doing.
But we've also said that's kind of what they have to do.
Yeah.
We gotta
You got to you trim them away. You trim, and
it's just we have to just exist in a world where these Robins, we can name drop them as we need to.
well, movies are different than shows, are different than comics. We don't have the time to tell the story of 3 or 4 other Robins before we get to Damian.
And that's my point. It's like if you need them for something cool, you name drop them. You name drop them in a line of dialogue. That way, you're not committing to a casting or anything. It's just like, okay, clearly this character existed at some point. Clearly, Jason Todd existed. Clearly, Stephanie Brown existed, or Carrie Kelly, or who, or Tim Drake.
Or they don't. Or they don't.
Or
Like,
they don't. Who's to say?
really, honestly, the story of Damian Wayne is unchanged by the lack of Tim Drake as it is now. As the Damian that we've got in the last 10 years since New 52 and Rebirth is not changed at all if there is no Jason Todd and no Tim Drake. It really is not.
Yeah, but and the only reason I think that just if this was any other situation, I would say you're probably right. But given the lengths that James Gunn seems to be going to make this DCU different, the idea of them keeping anybody out when you're already introducing Mr. Terrific, Guy Gardner, and the engineer in a Superman movie, to at least to not include the Bat family, the greater Bat family, in this DC's mythos. Again, not necessarily on screen, just that they existed.
Yeah,
would be a weird.
Well, here.
Like, it would be like, of all the things to exclude, that's the weird one. Tim Drake and previous Robins would be, of all the things you choose to exclude from your DCU, that's the thing, really.
Well, and I think too, if this movie starts and Dick Grayson's already Nightwing, then you're right. All those Robins are back in play. But if Dick Grayson is Robin in this movie and turns into Nightwing, I think now we're trimming down Robins.
And
I think it's possible.
I think it's possible, but I think, again, given the amount of time that we're showing as have passed and the things that they seem to want to do, starting with Dick Grayson still as Robin.
Yeah.
And then we just jump ship to Damian Wayne, you're going to make a lot of people mad, because while they may not be important to Damian's mythos and character, they are important to Batman's mythos and character. Jason Todd's death is a big impact on Batman as we know him as a character. And I know you're getting ready to say, but the movies are different.
No.
But
I wasn't going to say that.
You were going to say something, but I think given everything else and things we haven't even talked about yet, given everything else they're including, to say that the things we're going to not do are some of everyone's favorite Robins in favor of one of the most divisive Robins.
That's why I say,
because also you take out Jason Todd, well, then you remove Red Hood from the conversation. Come on, because then what you end up having to do is some crazy Christ on Infinite Earths, Fantastic Four is in an alternate universe bullshit like the MCU is having to do. Venom, Kraven, Madam Web, and all this other stuff. Then you get into one of those situations.
Yeah.
And that seems like something James Gunn is trying at all costs to avoid.
Well, I mean, we'll see. I think that would be my thing with Teen Titans. If he's Nightwing at the beginning of that movie, other Robins are in play. If he becomes Nightwing through that movie, I think we're just trimming him away. And we're
basing all of this on nothing.
We're basing on the fact that somebody hasn't drafted the script. This is me just blah, 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 blah. I'm just saying. I think that all right. So Swamp Thing, the ball really is in the director James Mangold's court.
Yeah. So it sounds to me like they're basically just saying, whenever you're ready, James. And I don't know what he's working on right now. So
I don't know either.
Actually, I'm about to look that up right now.
Or it could just be that maybe he doesn't want to, and he's trying to figure out if he wants to, which is fine. I mean,
I'm not seeing it. All right.
But that means the script is done, unless James is writing the script.
And that's what I was trying to see if I could figure that out, but I couldn't figure out who was writing it, if he was writing it or not. But if they're saying it's in James Mangold's court, then that sounds to me like it sounds to me like they're just saying, we're ready to go whenever he is. So either they're waiting on a script or they're waiting for his schedule to open up.
That's what I'm wondering.
Yeah.
Because he has a movie. Well, that was last year.
I was gonna say I don't even know if he has anything coming out right now.
Well, the last thing he was doing was Indiana Jones and the Dial of Destiny. So maybe he's just
He
trying to
directed
get over that. Yeah.
I didn't know Mangold directed that.
Yeah.
Wow.
And he wrote it.
Okay, so maybe he is doing the whole thing. I mean, I'm really curious to see what they do with this because I really like Swamp Thing, and you know, I've said before that one season of that show we got was so good.
Yeah.
Shame on whoever in the finance department did put the decimal point in the wrong place. So apparently Sergeant Rock is happening.
Hold on. Why do I feel like we skipped something?
We didn't.
No, we didn't. All right. Yes, you're right. Sergeant Rock.
Sergeant Rock is happening. He says Daniel Craig was never attached. Not sure where that came from. But apparently that is. I've never read anything with Sergeant Rock in it. I know nothing about Sergeant Rock. Anything?
I have in the like passing by old comics, nothing that I can say I'm super familiar with him. I know he was. There was one of the Justice League episodes where it was supposed to be him. Oh, I think it was when they go back in time, the season ender for Justice League the first
one
season
with the Blackhawks.
Yes. So the group that Green Lantern hangs out with in the past was supposed to be Sergeant Rock and his guys, and it's pretty evident. But for some reason, they couldn't get the rights to him to be in the cartoon. So that's why it's just this like generic squad of Marines he's working with.
Oh, you're talking about you're not talking about the Blackhawks episode. You're talking about
the Blackhawks episode because there's a two-parter that ends the first season where they all go back in time and fight Vandal Savage.
That's right. Okay, you're right. Yep. I was thinking about
the group that if memory serves, the group that Green Lantern, because he loses his powers for some reason. I don't recall at the top of my head, but that group was supposed to be Sergeant Rock and his commandos, and for some reason they couldn't get the rights. So
I mean,
he ends up just
looking at it on Google. Sergeant Rock seems a little grown up for the Justice League cartoon.
Well, yeah, but I think it was a rights issue. But anyway, point being, that's all I really know. I mean, dude, given the vast array of genres that these DC projects are going, I don't see why not. I don't know how he fits in the current. I don't know if it's from the past. It would be very interesting. And, you know, I'm always down for something different.
Yeah.
You know, once the MCU became the same genre across the board, it kind of blah.
Oh, you know what? I just realized.
What's that?
So Sergeant Rock is a part of Easy Company. Easy Company is the group that G.I. Robot is a part of in Creature Commandos.
Nice. There we go.
I kind of want to go back and watch that episode again.
And see if he's there.
To see if one of those soldiers is supposed to be Sergeant Rock. Because again, I
never
read it, so I might have missed it.
Yeah. All right. So the next thing is Brave and the Bold. Film will be based on Grant Morrison's run on Batman. A script has been picked, but they are not ready to reveal who it is.
Script writer has been picked.
A script writer has been picked, but they are not ready to reveal who it is yet. All right. So
and I want to add one other thing to that because it's not included in this article. Which is that he did confirm that Andy Muschietti gets first look at whenever the script is submitted.
Yeah.
Andy Muschietti gets first look. He's not signed on to direct. He gets first look to decide whether or not he wants it before they show it to anybody else. And he is not involved in the writing process. So he is not attached to it at all. He just gets first look whenever the script is done.
Yeah.
So that's an important distinction because we've kind of been floundering with that a little bit of like, where does he sit with it? And then there was the shit that he said about why he thinks the Flash didn't do well and yada, yada, yada. But all that's neither here nor there. I mean, we knew this was based on Grant Morrison's run. I mean,
Yes.
that we knew that was coming. It's nice to hear that's still the case. I do want to go read that run when it gets closer to when it's time for this movie to come out, whenever that is. But because we all know how I feel about Grant Morrison.
Yeah.
Are you familiar with this run in particular?
I think the Grant Morrison Batman stuff I read was when Nightwing was Batman. I don't think I've read this run because
Okay.
he wrote Batman and Robin, which is
Right.
when Dick, like I said, Dick Grayson is Batman and Damian Wayne is his Robin after Damian Wayne has just become Robin.
Yeah.
So, but I haven't read this one, so that's why I was kind of like, wait a minute.
Yeah, I wonder if they're pulling from Batman and Son.
That's what it looks like. I'm assuming that has to be what it is because
Yeah.
it would, as cool as that would be.
I don't see that happening.
That's a really random swing for your first Batman movie to have Dick Grayson being Batman.
Yeah, I have a feeling they're going from this 06 Batman and Son run, which might be.
I would think so. All right.
Now,
Batman.
before we go
Okay.
further on that, I found a couple other things that they announced that have been announced that I forgot to pull up. I want to jump into real quick.
Okay.
One is that unfortunately Warner Brothers Games has closed 3 of their studios, including the one that was making the Wonder Woman game.
Okay.
Which is a bummer, but it does seem like and part of that's also because that Suicide Squad game absolutely tanked, as did Multiverses, because nobody wanted that.
No.
It looks like DC is making some moves with getting Rocksteady, the game developer, back involved, because they're the ones who developed the Arkham series.
Yeah.
The current rumor is that they're developing a Batman Beyond game set in the future of the Arkham universe.
Yeah.
Which on the one hand, I'm like, dope.
Yeah.
Can you make sure it's not a VR exclusive like your current Arkham game? Because that's annoying.
Yes.
And then the current rumor is that it might be a PlayStation exclusive, which I'm like, you still fucked up.
Yeah.
How about we go back to making games everyone can play again? I'm just saying, you know what I mean? I should have to buy a $600 console to play your video game.
Yeah. See, what you need to do is find a character that you can do the first Halo game with, but it's a DC character. Like, I don't know, some military guy, maybe Sergeant Rock. I don't know.
There you go. Fuck it. Who
Like,
cares?
because that first Halo game, not to go too tangent, that first Halo game was so fantastic.
Revolutionary. There's a reason they remastered it.
Why is that not a superhero game somehow?
I got a better question. Why didn't they just do that for the Halo series? Anyway, DC Studios also announced, we missed 3 TV things. DC Studios announced 3 new animated series.
Yes. Okay.
The first
that
one,
wasn't on there.
The first one is called DC Studios Superpowers. Will be set at the Alliance School for Heroes and will focus on the new students, Aquagirl, Flash, Green Lantern, Lightning, Plastic Man, and Terra, as they learn everything they need to know from Principal, Martian Manhunter. This sounds like a Saturday morning cartoon. I look forward to watching it with a bowl of cereal.
You know what it makes me think of? It's a combination of like the DC superhero girls.
Yeah.
Which, though aimed for girls,
not bad.
Actually a really good show.
Not bad at all.
The redo was kind of weird, but I appreciated the design work.
Yeah.
It got away from them all being Barbies and let them actually have different builds.
Yeah.
But it also makes me think of what's it called? X-Men Evolution.
Yes, it does. I'm or like Ultimate Spider-Man a little bit. Like, I'm curious.
You got those younger characters doing the younger character thing,
and ultimately this just sounds like it's going to be fun, and I like fun. Speaking of fun, the next one is called Starfire, and it's just following the famous Teen Titan in the first days after she leaves Tamaran and ventures across space. Cool. I'm into that.
No, so depending on when that comes out.
Yeah, no release dates have been given yet.
Well, because I'm just saying, like, if this comes out first, this is our prequel run into the Teen Titans movie.
And see, that could be. I'm curious, and this is what, because obviously DC superpowers sounds like a totally in a bubble, like
Yeah.
that's just its own thing. This could totally be that. Could also be set theoretically in the universe of My Adventures with Superman. Because
there's
we're also getting a show called My Adventures with Green Lantern, which is actually going to be following the Jessica Cruz Green Lantern.
Okay. I missed that part.
Yeah, follows Jessica Cruz, a high school student who has a Green Lantern ring drop into her life. This is going to be Jessica Cruz, but I'm assuming this is set in the same universe as My Adventures with Superman, and we know season 3 is coming.
Mm-hmm.
So I mean, Jack Quaid had said online that they finished recording all the VO last year. Now that was not included in any of these announcements.
Yeah.
I'm assuming it's coming though. At this point, they're just
Well, and I think that is interesting because similar to like what you did with the Timverse, if you want to call it that, is
sure.
Like you had Batman, and then you had Superman, then you had Batman Beyond, and then eventually they made a team. So if you can give me a My Adventures universe, here's My Adventures with of Superman, here's My Adventures with Green Lantern, My Adventures with the Flash, and then give me some random team of these guys. Because I mean, you really think about like they have Superman, Supergirl. If they're doing a Green Lantern show, you know the other lanterns are showing up. There's no doubt about it.
Yeah.
So I really
I was gonna say go ahead, I'm sorry.
No, I just think like this is an interesting way to kind of get that pocket that's usually ignored. You get the really young little kid DC superhero girls, and then you get Creature Commandos. There's so rare that mid-range. Like Young Justice tried, but was too much.
It was too melodramatic. It was teen soap opera.
So if you could give me My Adventures of Superman, a family show, I could sit with my wife and all 3 of my kids from 5, 11, and 17 and enjoy My Adventures of Superman. If you can do that for 4 or 5 other characters, you got me. You got me there. And I think that is a great idea.
And kind of like what we've been saying about like with the absolute DC comics, My Adventures of Superman is just a little tweak on what we know. And if we can just keep doing those little tweaks on what we know, we already know Martian Manhunter exists in these stories. Other, more villains, more characters I mean, it makes sense that eventually we would see other DC heroes. And for them to say, we're not going into Batman, we're not doing Flash, we're doing Green Lantern, but we're doing a lesser known Green Lantern. Yeah, let's go for it.
This is where you pull in those random characters that probably will never get a live action movie, but you can risk it in animation. Something like Booster Gold and Blue Beetle, Ted Kord Blue Beetle. Have him show up in this show, backdoor him through LexCorp or whatever in Superman.
Well, we know that Ted Kord is trapped somewhere, he's somewhere.
Well, even if this isn't connected to the DCU, it can be its own universe.
Oh, that's true. DC. Yeah, I get what you're saying.
Yeah, and so now you can pull, dude. How fun would it be to have somebody like I'm trying to think of some random character. Oh my gosh, I don't know. Somebody. Like,
Condiment King.
You know what? My Adventures with Mr. Miracle. Like, dude, pull the New Gods in for no reason whatsoever, but it would be.
I'm trying to make Mr. Miracle happen. I'm kidding.
Whatever do you mean?
I know. But go ahead. I'm sorry.
I'm just saying, like, you can do this world in this new take way, have a blast with it, and it doesn't have to have any continuity with the DCU, and you could have fun.
Yeah. Well, speaking of the DCU,
hold on, let me ask you this: what do you think of the Starfire thing?
Oh yeah, I didn't talk about. I mean, I'm into it. Yeah. I think Starfire is a character that I don't think it's done enough justice, and I think a lot of that's because I think sometimes she gets looped into the same category as like Poison Ivy, where it's like cool. There's the sexy redhead, or like Power Girl. It's like, and I think that there's a level of like the deep space DC lore that we get with Green Lantern, but not really anybody else. And I think Starfire is a character whose origins I'd like to see explored a little more thoroughly than the way they were on Titans.
Well, and I think too the problem for me, and I'm basing this more in the comics, is like Starfire is introduced in Teen Titans, and then pretty much like instantaneously is Dick Grayson's chick.
Yeah, that's kind of my point. Is like,
and then she's his chick until the 90s, and it's just like once he gets out of that situation, and now he's more with Barbara. She's not even in any of the Teen Titans comics anymore. She's in limbo. I mean, she was with that weird Red Hood and the Outlaws book that was whatever. Art was great, story was dumb.
The story wasn't great, yeah.
But it's just like, so I think that's where this would be a great opportunity to kind of make her own thing, get her away from being,
because it's literally about her first days leaving her home planet, and it's like, okay, cool, yeah, I want it, because the most we've ever gotten out of that is like, with when Blackfire shows up on Teen Titans, it's like, I want to know more about where she came from, and Titans had an opportunity to do that, and they dropped the ball hard with a lot of things, and the show was really just meant to be about, it was mostly supposed to be a Robin showcase more than anything else. So I'm really into that, and it's one of those, like, it's a way to be like, we always want to. I was seeing a lot of discourse about this on threads over the weekend of like, people were clamoring for like more like female-led projects, and it's like, it's good to see we're starting to actually get some of those again. Remember how long it took us to get a freaking Black Widow movie?
Yeah.
Like, honest to God.
I mean, even pushing that farther, why did it take so long for there to be a Wonder Woman movie? She's the Trinity.
Seriously. Like, it's insane.
The fact that Rocket Raccoon and Groot were in a movie before Wonder Woman is in effing insane.
Thank you, James Gunn. Don't get me wrong, but like, seriously. I remember the memes back in those days were like, because everybody was like, hey, DC, when are we getting a Wonder Woman movie? We haven't found a way to make Wonder Woman work yet. And James Gunn's like, cool, I got a talking tree. There's
a talking tree and a raccoon with a gun.
Yeah. Seriously. Well, getting back to James Gunn and the DCU. Robert Pattinson's not going to be the DCU's Batman, guys. I don't know how many more times James Gunn has to say it. And to all the critics and news outlets and scoop artists that have been out there saying James Gunn reveals Robert Pattinson's not going to be the DCU Batman. He's been saying that online for the better part of a year, you fucking idiots. Oh my God. Like, if I see the word reveals attached to that sentence one more time, I'm going to snap. He's been saying it forever.
Well, it's just like we talked about 2 episodes ago. Was it 2 episodes ago? I think so. I don't know. The episode where we talked about this actors reading the Batman script.
Oh, just like a couple weeks ago. Like a week
before, but the whole thing of like it got moved. Once you make a big change like that, people are going to start filling in the gaps, like I did with the weird. I wonder if it's this thing. So
we got some more on that too.
I get it. I get why you go, well, I wonder if this is what they're doing, but let's be done now.
Yeah,
he is now doubled, tripled, quadrupled down on Pattinson is not going to be the DCU Batman. We'll be done.
I promise you, by the end of the month, by the end of March, we're going to see 30 articles, ways that they could still make it happen.
Yeah.
Anyway, but they also said that Matt Reeves has not turned in a final script yet. So that leads me to believe that odds are what Matt Reeves is now finally in the process of showing the actors, okay, I think I've got the story figured out.
Yeah.
Tell me you guys are into this before I hand it to James.
Or it's the third script. No.
Well, but actually, no, seriously, I'm still not against that. It also got me thinking, I wonder if maybe he's just feeling the pressure of like, because James Gunn has been really big on like, bring me a script if you want this.
Yeah.
The fact that he is holding a release date for him without a script yet is based solely on the goodwill of that first movie.
Yeah.
But I also feel like we're getting to the point now where it's like, okay, but Matt, like,
yeah,
come on, dude. Like, that's money you're leaving on the table right now.
Yeah.
And
it's nearly as insane as them not having a Man of Steel 2 script that we're not already rolling there, that there isn't already near the time of the Batman #2 coming out.
yeah.
And I know there's tons of factors that have inhibited it.
Yes. It's been a while though.
Yeah.
But
But
we're already talking about a release date of 2027.
yeah. Tell me the Penguin made you guys that much money that you guys did that instead of Batman 2.
Yeah, tell me that. I mean, I will never understand the economics of a streaming series, but it is what it is.
All right,
sticking around. Let's get back into DCU, but let's stick around in Batman a little bit. What's next?
All right, Clayface. Peter Safran said of the film, Clayface isn't widely known as Penguin or Joker, but we think his story is as deeply resonant, thrilling, and even more terrifying. The release date is set for September 11th, 2026.
And as we talked, we mentioned this briefly in our episode earlier this week. James Watkins, who did who said Not Ready or Not, Speak No Evil, and also worked on Black Mirror, is going to be heading up the Clayface movie. Give it to me now.
Yeah, that's a year and a half away, so they may be rolling quick.
And speaking on that, something else is not on this list, but they did talk about it at the meeting, and we posted this online. They're also working on a movie that's just called Deathstroke / Bane.
Yeah, I think I saw something about that.
Matthew Orton, who previously worked on Operation Finale and on Moon Knight, which, by the way, as they've said, is season 2 is being worked on in development right now for Moon Knight. But he'll be writing that up, and it goes to something that James Gunn said about the DCU's Batman, which is that he said, he's committed to making Batman happen.
Yeah,
he doesn't want anyone to think that they're gonna ignore. He's like, we're committed to Batman, but because Batman's Batman, they're gonna make sure they do it right. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And it goes to this idea of, when you think about how the MCU handled Spider-Man, we brought that up a few times. Like, you can introduce him in other things and then give him his own thing. And I kind of like the idea of us doing these ancillary Batman movies in the DCU where we can, because something I think we all really like is when you can feel Batman's presence without him being on screen.
Yeah.
So, like, when you think about the opening sequence to The Batman, where it's Batman monologuing, and it's just the criminals getting scared of the darkness.
Yeah.
Because Batman might be there. That's the kind of thing, you can get by doing these ancillary characters. You can have Batman still be a presence and a factor without being the lead. We saw a little bit of that in the first Suicide Squad movie with Batman and Flash. I'm not saying it's a good movie, but you can do that.
Yeah.
That's a way to start creating a mythos of this Batman, giving this Batman a mythos in this universe.
Yeah. Well, even look at, it may not be the best example people want to hear, but like Black Widow and Hawkeye, they were in several other movies before they had their own thing, but they were fully developed. We knew exactly who they were. They had full relationships. Like, I dare say we shouldn't even bother with a Black Widow movie. The only good thing to come out of her movie was not anything to do with her. It was Yelena and Red Guardian.
Yeah, let me rephrase. We needed a Black Widow movie 5 years sooner and written better. But
yeah. But my point more is like, you could have Batman in Teen Titans, show up in, some of these other movies, and Brave and the Bold be the time when he finally is the lead, and we'd
Yeah.
still know who he is and be involved. So yeah.
I agree.
And the fact that like maybe he's in Clayface.
Well, that's what
We
I'm
don't
saying.
know.
Is that's what I'm saying is like you throw him in Clayface, you throw him in Deathstroke Bane. We technically already saw him in Creature Commandos. So
Yeah.
like as part of Jesus, I blanked on his name. Dr. Phosphorus. Dr.
Yeah.
Phosphorus's origin. So like, yeah, as you keep doing these other projects, yeah, you just weave him in and out.
Even thinking of the first Suicide Squad animated show, like he's the boogeyman in that show, in that cartoon, the movie.
Oh,
the
you're
movie,
right.
where he's maybe in it 10 minutes, maybe
You're right,
15,
yeah.
but most of the time our main characters are running scared shitless of him
That's what we
because they
need.
don't want to deal with him. So if you had something like that where you see how terrifying Clayface is, but he's scared because Batman's coming, that would be interesting indeed.
Or even if you do similar to what we got with Penguin, where it's just like, here's an entire movie of why Batman needs to kick this guy's ass, or an entire movie of why it's totally okay that we did what we did to him in Creature Commandos, like, however you want to set it up. So same with Deathstroke. Yeah, again, it's one of those, it's like, let's give us a reason to celebrate when Batman kicks their ass, but also, let's create the aura of Batman in the DC universe as well.
All right. So the last thing is Supergirl Woman of Tomorrow. Film is about halfway through production and maintains a release date of June 26, 2026. So it's a year and 3 months away.
Yeah.
So
which the fear that they're already like, and James Gunn said the other day, we posted this online and talked about it here. Like he said, we're not going to see much of this at all. Like he's like, this movie is being shot on a soundstage almost entirely, which we already figured. He's like, we won't see our first look at Lobo until they're ready. The odds of leaks from this are minimal. If not zero.
We'll see. I'm still over on under if we'll see anything of her before Superman.
Oh, we won't. I am thoroughly convinced we like that from behind shot we saw of her. That's the last thing we'll see of her outside of a trailer for Superman before the movie, plain and simple. Because otherwise it takes the conversation away from Superman.
Yeah. So,
and James Gunn has said, and just kind of wrap all this up, like he had said also this meeting that they are going to be going hard on marketing for this movie. They're calling it the Summer of Superman. He likened the plans for the marketing campaign to what they did for Barbie. Oh my God. I don't think we're ready because they went hard for Barbie. Same studio.
Well, and also like in the weird, not the least weird way, whatever. I don't know what I'm talking about. Like this movie has to work.
This movie has got to work.
It has to work. It has to be successful. They've already experienced barely getting ahead of it before.
Yeah.
So we've never seen I can't say the quality of the movie, but it's just like, look, Captain America Brave New World.
Haven't seen it yet.
Well, I'm just saying, like, it had a great opening weekend. I think it did pretty well the second. So it's done what it needed to do, but it's not the banger they
probably
but
it also didn't have as much riding on it. Captain America Brave New World was the fourth Captain America movie.
Well,
was the 30 billionth MCU movie.
But for the MCU, they needed I think had Deadpool and Wolverine not been a thing, I think MCU be in a little bit more trouble.
Fair. That's absolutely fair. But Deadpool and Wolverine bought them some goodwill.
So but all that to say, like, this movie has got to be a banger. It's got to be successful financially and critically because, dude, looking at this right now, the weird thing about this list of things is like, what, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 of these things are happening.
Yeah, they're actively in production.
So, like, if Superman tanks, well,
Well-
we still have 4 more movies coming.
And that takes us to kind of the thing we hinted at earlier, which is they also came up with what they are calling their annual
template.
release plan.
Yeah.
Obviously, they're not going to make the quota this year, but I think the plan is starting next year.
Yeah.
Once they get the grant, starting next year, it's going to be 2 live action films, 1 animated film, 2 live action series, and 2 animated series.
Yeah.
That's a lot in a year.
Well, but also, he just said that that's what they're releasing. That doesn't mean they're all
Well, and
inclusive
that's,
of the DCU.
I want to say, that's DC Studios.
Correct.
So
So-
that, that can mean a whole lot of things. Because he also revealed that like as we figured, this dynamic duo Nightwing Jason Todd movie, he said it's not going to be canon to the DCU.
No,
He's like,
I kind of figured.
he said we considered it. He said, but honestly, given just the animation style and the way they're telling the story, it's just not gonna fit, which is fine. We already know not everything is going to be.
I mean, I think that's it. Do we have anything else?
Oh, I pray to God that's it, because Jesus Christ, I can't talk anymore.
Hey, everybody, let us know what you think of all this stuff. Do you think I'm insane for the things I'm saying? Do you think he's insane for the things I'm saying? Don't forget, you can like this video, and while you go down there, subscribe to the channel. Also, hit up on all social medias at We Are the Batman Pod on Facebook, Instagram, and Threads. You can find my buddy, Mr. Mike Shea, at Mr. Mike Shea across all social media. You can find me, Matthew Hasso, at The Hasso Man across most of my socials. If there's anything else I need to say, give us the end line.
That's going to do it for this week. This episode of We Are the Batman. We'll see you guys again next time. Same bat time, same bat podcast channel.
Bye-bye.